What is going on, guys? Money Webby here, back again. NFL Divisional Week. I got my favorite DraftKings picks for this week for you guys. Some players at every single position. Sorry for no video last week. I was going to upload a video, but actually last minute, one of my friends messaged me asking if I wanted to come up for the weekend, so I couldn't really make my video in time before I headed up there. And then week 17, I was going to make a video, but everyone around the NFL was just being ruled out. A lot of people getting arrested, so I didn't have any motivation really to upload a video on all these guys that are like second string players. Didn't really want to dive in that deep that week, so that kind of sucked. But yeah, I was kind of disappointed I couldn't upload a video last week, but we're back again like I mentioned. 4 games here on the slate. A little bit tough with making lineups and being kind of different on the slate because we do have 4 games and there's not as many offensive games this week as there normally is. Kind of some defensive matchups this week. So tough for DraftKings sake, but we still have some good plays here to make it work. So I got the plays for you guys. Drop a like in the video. If you're ready for this weekend to win some money, definitely drop a like. It really helps me out, guys. Let's try to get over 100 likes on this video, and definitely subscribe if you are new here to get these DraftKings picks every single day for NBA. I'm going to be doing game picks for NFL this week also. Uploading with tonight or maybe tomorrow, I'm not sure yet, but NFL, I might do a DraftKings picks video next week for the conference championship games, depending how the slate kind of looks for the 2-game slate. But the 4 games we got for this one is Atlanta going against Philly, Tennessee going against New England, Jacksonville, Pitt, and then we got New Orleans going against Minnesota. Looking at the over-unders, the 2 highest by a sizable margin is actually the Tennessee game and the the New Orleans game. Tennessee, New England is currently slated at a 47-point over-under, and then New Orleans, Minnesota is 46.5, and then the other 2 with Jacksonville and Pitt and Atlanta, Philly are both around 41 at the moment. So those are some things to consider there. You're going to probably get more DraftKings points out of the Tennessee-New England game and the New Orleans-Minnesota game if everything works out. According to Vegas, I think those are the better games, honestly, to target as well. Like, you got Atlanta, Philly. With Nick Foles in that offense, they've really been struggling. Also, Atlanta struggles a lot outside of the dome. They're playing that game in Philly, and also Jacksonville, Pitt. There is some nice plays there value-wise, and also you got Le'Veon Bell. Tough to ignore him, but Jacksonville's pass defense is just so good, and Jacksonville's offense has been kind of anemic lately, so keep that in mind, guys, when you're making your lineups. But like I said, the plays are here. Let's just kick it off with quarterback. Originally, when I looked at the slate, I was thinking, yeah, I want to get Tom Brady in here. He's the best quarterback by far, but he hasn't even been getting that many fantasy points every single week as of late, especially not even hitting 20-plus DraftKings points since week 12. That's kind of disappointing and something to consider here. Tennessee's pass defense is the worst in the league, though. I mean, the worst out of any defense this week. So, but at 7,000, the price is just too much for me when I'm trying to pay up for guys like Le'Veon Bell, Gronk, maybe even try to get Julio Jones in there, Adam Thielen. I can't really afford Tom Brady. So the quarterback I'm looking at is going to be Case Keenum at 6,100 going against New Orleans. And I think people actually could shy away from him considering how bad he's been for DraftKings over the last few weeks. But this is a different kind of matchup here. Going against New Orleans, yes, they have a good defense, but with this game flow, there should be some more points here. This is the second highest over-under, like I said, at 46.5. So Keenum and their defense won't have probably the same success they've had against teams like Chicago, only allowed 10 points there. Green Bay pitched a shutout in that one against Cincinnati, only let up 7 points in that one. So Keenum didn't need to pass them much, only 29 attempts, 25 and 23. I think he could reach 30-plus attempts in this game. And also the Saints' second cornerback, Ken Crawley, has been kind of struggling recently. It is the weaker side, obviously, compared to Lattimore. So I think Lattimore can easily lock down Diggs, but Adam Thielen can go bananas in this matchup. And also Kyle Rudolph can do some things to really get Keenum returning value at his price tag at 6,100. So I like the matchup here for Case Keenum and the opportunity. And also Sam Bradford, week 1, the guy went absolutely crazy against the same Saints defense, threw for 346 yards and 3 touchdowns all the way back in the week 1. That feels like it was 5 years ago. But Case Keenum, good spot here. I like the price tag. So Case Keenum is one quarterback I'm definitely considering. Then Marcus Mariota, another guy I'm not feeling as safe about him. But he definitely has the upside because he has that rushing ability. The last 2 weeks, he's starting to use his legs a lot more. 8 carries and 10 carries, good for 106 yards in both of those games. And also, he should be working from behind the whole entire game. So he definitely can pad his stats in this game, taking off for some first downs with his legs and just throwing the ball against the Patriots defense if they go to that prevent kind of style defense and just rack up some passing yards and maybe get a touchdown or two in garbage time in this game. I do think the Patriots will be up by more than a touchdown the whole entire game. So Marcus Mariota, 5,900, can easily return some value for DFS purposes. So those are the 2 quarterbacks I'm really looking at that can return some nice value. With how I'm trying to construct my lineups, I can't really pay out for guys like Tom Brady. Maybe I can afford Drew Brees, but I'm not that high on him. I think KEENUM and MARIOTA is the 2 places to go for quarterback this week. So that is it at quarterback. Let's move on to running back. So looking at running back, you got Le'Veon Bell at the top at 9,600 going against Jacksonville here. Then you got a big pay jump down to Alvin Kamara at 7,800. So 1,800 difference between their first running back and the second running back. But I think you got to pay up for Le'Veon Bell. He's just so safe and consistent with all the opportunity he gets and all the touches he gets. So against Jacksonville, the matchup isn't as good as it was at the beginning of the year because they got Marcel Darius from Buffalo to really help in the running game, and it has definitely helped. But Le'Veon Bell, their offensive line is still very good, and they're still going to rely on him. Even if he's not effective, he'll still get the touches, and if he's not getting it done in the running game, he'll get it done in the receiving game. We saw that in the first matchup against these 2 teams. Jacksonville, they kind of like beat the living crap out of Pittsburgh in that game. 30-9 was the score, so Pittsburgh will be a little bit pissed off about that. And Le'Veon Bell, they weren't able to get him going on the ground, so maybe they've been trying to scheme up some things over the bye week to get him some more opportunities in the run game, but still in their receiving game, he got 10 catches, good for 19 DraftKings points. I mean, that's like the worst kind of game you could ask for Le'Veon Bell. Only 4 yards a catch and only 3.1 yards a rush. So I think that Le'Veon Bell would definitely have a chip on his shoulder and bounce back in this game against Jacksonville. And I expect Pittsburgh to be up a little bit more in this game. It should stay fairly close, but I think Pittsburgh will be up most of the game by a touchdown or so and still get Le'Veon Bell going through the ground and through the air because their cornerbacks are just so good with Jalen Ramsey and A.J. Boya on the outside. So that really will limit guys like Antonio Brown and Bryant and Juju Smith-Schuster in the middle. So Le'Veon Bell, good spot for him considering the opportunity, and Jacksonville's defense just matches up good against everyone except really Le'Veon Bell. So I like him on that spot. For my second running back, we're going to go with Dion Lewis, another patient running back at 6,600 going against Tennessee. Another guy that benefits with a positive game script here. He's just been beasting lately. There's nothing more to it. Without Rex Burkhead, the last 2 weeks he played 26 carries and 24 carries, hoping that Rex Burkhead doesn't play for DFS sake. But he has been practicing. But the one thing I've been seeing in reports is that he still doesn't look 100%. So that's something to consider. I think he still has a brace on, so that's bad for his health-wise. So I think Dion Lewis will still get over 20 carries, honestly, in this game going against Tennessee. And like I mentioned, New England, they should be up in this game. They're currently 13-point favorites or so. So Dion Lewis should get a lot of work and potentially another touchdown, especially if Rex Burkhead is out of this game. And he's been a little bit more active in the receiving game, so the New England's really been using him a lot recently, so I don't see why they wouldn't carry that over into the playoffs. He's been one of their best offensive players this year, one of the most underrated running backs in the league. PFF had him graded out as the 3rd best running back this year, so Dion Lewis at 6,600 and a positive game script. I like him a lot. Definitely throw him in your lineup. So Le'Veon Bell and Dion Lewis, the 2 running backs I'm looking at. Also, you can consider Leonard Fournette at 6,900. Those are the 3 running backs I feel good about that I feel like I could recommend. Other guys are kind of risky, like you got Latavius Murray. He can have a big week if he gets the touchdown, but I didn't want to recommend Case Keenum and Latavius Murray because they could both eat into each other's production. But Le'Veon Bell, Dion Lewis, and Leonard Fournette, I think all can have big weeks. And Leonard Fournette is a great matchup against Pittsburgh. They've really been struggling against the run since they lost Ryan Shazier, and he went off against Pittsburgh earlier this year. So those are the 3 running backs there, but Le'Veon Bell and Dion Lewis are the 2 running backs I'll probably be slating in my lineups to fill those 2 spots. So let's look at wide receiver now. So looking at wide receiver at the top, another Pittsburgh Steeler, Antonio Brown at 8,100. A very tough matchup, though, against Jacksonville. If you don't know by now, the best pass defense in the whole entire NFL. And Jalen Ramsey, I think he's the best cornerback in the NFL. So I think Antonio Brown can definitely struggle in the matchup. So I'm not trying to target him. But if I'm trying to pay up for any wide receiver at the top, it's going to be Julio Jones and Adam Thielen. Both have good matchups. As I talked about, the way you attack Philadelphia is through the air, so I think Julio Jones could definitely get a lot of targets, especially if Atlanta gets down in that game. Julio Jones could have a monster game. And also Adam Thielen going against the number 2 cornerback for New Orleans, and he goes in the slot. Like I said, Lattimore is going to be probably shadowing Diggs in that matchup, so I think Adam Thielen can have a huge game there. So those are the 2 studs I'm looking at if I'm going to pay up for it. But for my current build, like the kind of the plays I'm sharing, the way you kind of fit in these plays, it's going to be Ted Ginn Jr. as a mid-range guy at 5,800. So I'm going to mention him to you against Minnesota. Xavier Rhodes, like I said, he's going to be matched up against Mike Thomas. A very bad matchup for Mike. So I think that Ted Ginn Jr. could get a few extra targets here, and he has that huge play upside, which we saw just recently last week against Carolina, catching an 80-yard touchdown, and he got 24 DraftKings points. So against Minnesota here, he draws a pretty solid matchup, considering the cornerback that's going to be on him. Trey Waynes, one of the worst deep ball defenders in the whole entire NFL. We saw a couple guys burn him earlier on this year. He has gone a little bit better, but he's still Trey Waynes, not a great NFL cornerback. So I think Ted Ginn Jr. can definitely do some damage against him on week 1, all the way back in week 1. 4 catches for 53 yards in that game. Not a bad game, 9.8 DraftKings points. And if you can have that similar game, but also add like a deep ball catch to this game, I think that Ted Ginn Jr. could have a huge week. And also I think New Orleans could be working from behind in this game, not by much, maybe a touchdown or so. So Ted Ginn Jr., like him a lot, has it upside at 5,800. And for my second guy, we're going to mention DEDE Westbrook here at 4,400. Only the really consistent wide receiver in this Jacksonville offense. Blake Bortles has been looking his way a lot recently. Not consistent, I mean like DraftKings scoring, but it's like target-wise. And his price is pretty cheap at 4,400. He got 8 targets last week, 9 against Tennessee, and 7 against San Fran. So solid looks going his way. And against Pittsburgh here, against his own defense, I think DEDE Westbrook will be the go-to guy for Blake Bortles yet again. And I think Jacksonville will be working from behind as well. So Blake Bortles, he's going to have to pass the ball. He can't be Mike Vick yet again in this game, rushing for like 100 yards or so, whatever he did last week. DEDE Westbrook, think he can get some grabs. Like I said, positive game script. Pittsburgh's pass defense also isn't that great. They lost Ryan Shazier, which didn't help their pass defense as well because they run that zone defense, leaving open the middle of the field. So DEDE Westbrook can definitely carve up some work in this matchup, so I like him a lot at 4,400. But one of my favorite plays this week is going to be Eric Decker at 3,800, going against New England, another team working from behind. Like I mentioned with Marcus Mariota, they're going to be down. Well, Vegas has them favored by 13 points, New England that is. So Eric Decker going to have a huge week here, coming from behind. And the way you attack on New England is with those slot wide receivers. We saw with Jarvis Landry have some big weeks against them this year. Just slot wide receivers in general, that's the best place to go against them. They're going to have Gilmore probably matched up on Corey Davis, so that will really limit Corey Davis. And also Malcolm Butler, he'll probably be matched up on Rashard Matthews if I had to guess. On the other side, and Decker will be in the slot going against the Pats' worst cornerback, so I like him a lot. And at 3,800, nice little value here, and he's been kind of coming on as of late. I mean, not that much, but more consistent work over the last couple weeks, like against San Fran, Arizona, and against the Rams. Over 50 yards in each of those games. So I like Eric Decker as a nice little value guy at 3,800. So that is it at wide receiver. You got Decker, you got DEDE Westbrook, the rookie, and also you got Ted Ginn Jr. But if you want to pay for any stud, then definitely look at Julio Jones and Adam Thielen at the top. So that's it for wide receiver. Let's look at tight end now. So at tight end, looking at Rob Gronkowski at the top, going against Tennessee. They're not good against tight ends, not really good against anything in the passing game, a very weak passing defense. So I think Gronk is going to have another big week, the go-to guy for Tom Brady. Had some monster weeks at the end of the year, 9 for 147 against Buffalo and 9 for 168 against Pittsburgh. He's looked very healthy. Very Rob Gronkowski-ish. There's some beast down the middle of the field. So against Tennessee, there's no one that can really slow him down here. So I think Gronk is a great play at the top. Definitely going to pay up for him if I can in my lineups. And for the second guy, gonna go with the second highest option, Zach Ertz at 5,800. Going against Atlanta, Nick Foles has been looking his way a lot since he's came in as a starting quarterback, getting around 10 targets a game with Nick Foles, the go-to guy. Yeah, so I think that Gronk and Zach Ertz are the two plays at tight end if you want to play. Pay up for the top. That's what I'm going to be doing in my builds. Also, you can save a little bit and go Delaney Walker, but I feel comfortable, more comfortable that is, going with Zach Ertz and Gronk. Like, there's not many options at tight end. It gets very bleak after Kyle Rudolph. Like, Jesse James, don't feel comfortable with any of these cheap guys, so I'm definitely going to be paying up for Gronk or Zach Ertz at tight end. So let's move on to defense now. And at defense, I only have one play for you because I feel very good about it. It's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles at 2,600. The price is way too low. Going against Atlanta here, the lowest over-under of the whole entire slate for all these games with the Falcons. And the Falcons are out of their dome. They're just not good out of the dome. Their offense, that is. They're playing in Philly. Philly's defense has been amazing at home. At home, 11 fantasy points per game. So Philadelphia, 2,600, way too good of a price, way too good of a value. Let's not get too cute here. That's the one defense I'm going to go with. And also, I just love to save money at defense. So when I saw Philadelphia at 2,600, I was all aboard the Philadelphia Eagles train. So that is what I got at defense for you guys. Keeping it short and simple. So we keep tight end and defense pretty short and simple for you guys. But that is it for the videos. You got your plays at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and defense. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Drop a like in the video if you did, and definitely subscribe if you haven't already to get these plays every single week. We're going to be doing conference finals probably. This week goes our way. If we have a disaster week, maybe I'll just be like sleeping in my room all day, just like disappointed in myself. But I think we'll have a good week here, and we'll be back again next week. Only 2 games though. We'll see how the slate looks when we get there. But definitely enjoyed this. Enjoyed making this video, and I hope you guys did too. So, like I said, let's try to go over 100 likes. Greatly appreciate it, guys. Hopefully the advice works out, and I wish you guys the best of luck. Let's make some money together in this divisional round for the NFL. You can go check out my NBA videos every single day. I get my top 5 plays for DraftKings, and also a cheap play that you can throw on your lineup. So definitely check out those videos if you are new to the channel, and if you aren't, we'll see you back here again tomorrow. Also, we got some NFL game picks coming our way within the next day, so stay on the lookout for that. See you guys later.